Some news and notes from the world of pro wrestling. Hey, Chris Graham here, Augusta Free Press, and we're going to do our AEW Dynamite ratings review. And we're going to start doing these each Friday, both on the website and here on YouTube, uh, because we wait for the quarter hour ratings to come out. And I kind of want to match my review to the quarter hour ratings so I can kind of put the analysis there together. This week, AEW saw a bump in the ratings overall in the aggregate, which was good news for the fans of AEW. Last week, the show had garnered an average of 840,000 viewers. This week, up to 950,000, 13% increase. That's good news. Still below the magical, mythical 1 million mark. Interesting of note, as we look at the quarter hours, according to WrestleNomics, as expected, the first quarter hour, as almost always the case, was the highest rated quarter hour on the show. Here at the watch party at Team AFP headquarters on Wednesday night, I noted that, as I noted that the executive vice presidents, Kenny Omega and Matt and Nick Jackson, who also have control of the book for AEW, booked themselves into the first match. Not surprising that they did that. And yes, that segment, the trios match, the latest in the endless series with Death Triangle, drew an average of 1.044 million viewers. Now, where they screwed up is that the match went past 8:15 into the 8:15 to 8:30 quarter hour, and that quarter hour actually bled 5% of the audience, which it went down to a 997,000 viewers. So they can claim demo god status, but they also were contributing to the show dipping below the million mark and staying there the rest of the show. So we saw what you did there, EVPs, even if the numbers ended up looking good for the show as a whole. From there, the show largely lost viewers, but not a lot. It was actually good news in that respect. The 8:30 to 8:45 quarter hour drew 968,000 viewers on average. That had the live angle with the Acclaimed and Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett. Had a Jericho faction promo, the beginning of Jungle Boy Jack Perry and Brian Cage. The end of that match, and then an angle with the Furman Hook, a Blackpool Combat uh, uh, Combat Blackpool Combat Club promo. I'll get that out right. A House of Black factory match, and a Jamie Hayter Hikaru Shida video. That was a packed 8:45 to 9 p.m. quarter hour. It drew an average of 926,000 viewers, so another drop. There was actually a bump up for the 9 p.m. to 9:15 p.m. Eastern time quarter hour, and this was Chris Jericho, the aforementioned demo god. His match with Action Andretti, the major upset. Andretti getting his first win in his first match on Dynamite, the 1-2-3 kid sort of moment. That match actually bumped up to 961,000 viewers. So growth in that quarter hour. Rare to see growth on either this show or any of the WWE weekly shows, Raw or SmackDown, after the first bit. The next quarter hour, 9:15 to 9:30, had a Ricky Starks promo. Ty Mello versus Ruby Soho. It was back down to 903,000. That was a 6% drop. The next quarter hour was another big one in terms of the number of things going on, and it actually saw a slight bump up. It had the end of the Mello Soho match, an Adam Page promo, a Best Friends promo, the beginning of the main event for MJF to Starks. And then that main event dropped. The last 15 minutes were rated at 891,000 viewers on average. Not good there for the new champ, gotta say. But to be fair, nobody expected him to lose the belt. That's bad booking in the overall sense, not bad booking in the sense of having MJF as a champ. Just when you make it clear that, I mean, this is his first title defense, it was obvious he wasn't going to lose that match. So the analysis, the EVPs will claim that they were the demo gods this time, but their segment bled viewers. I think that'll tell you a lot. Jericho did well at the top of the 9 p.m. hour. I do have to question a little bit. Action Andretti. Now, I've seen him on that YouTube match about a month and a half ago, and it seemed like he was getting hype even there. He's the Maryland heavyweight champion. Works for a small promotion, has a good look. But his match, he just seemed like in the match with Jericho, he was off. His chops looked a little over dramatic. His timing was just a slight bit off with Jericho. So, I mean, they give him the ball, and he's going to have to run with it now. I'm not sure. I mean, you could give the ball to anybody. You can give a win over a guy like Jericho to anybody you want to give a win to. I'm not sure this was the right move, but we'll see. Still haven't heard the kid on the mic to know if he deserves it in that respect. It was clear at the end of the main event that MJF has Bryan Danielson as his next dance partner. You have to wonder now, are they going to slow walk that all the way to March for the Revolution pay-per-view? Are they going to try to give us this at the Battle of the Belts on January 6th? Battle of the Belts is traditionally, as after the first one, has been something of a throwaway show for AEW. So, do we have to wait 2.5 months for this? I wouldn't mind that. A slow build is often a lot of fun to watch. The Battle of the Belts is in Portland, Oregon, which is Bryan Danielson country. So you have to wonder about that too. Ricky Starks was treated the right way. He was given the quick build last week. He got a great promo spot with MJF and showed he deserved it. We've known for a while in the ring he's deserved the push. The way he lost was fair in a sense of for him, because it was a low blow that led to him losing. It wasn't a clean fall. Tony Khan doesn't do a lot of those. He usually just buries guys. So now the question is, will Tony Khan keep the shine on Ricky Starks, or will he forget him like he's done to so many other guys who he's gotten built to a certain point and then just forgotten about? Miro comes to mind. Wardlow comes to mind. There's a lot that comes to mind. And so those are the questions and some thoughts to our answers coming out of that pay-per-view. I want to highlight another column I wrote. This is a guy who does a podcast, so I don't need to talk too much about it here. But I was listening the other day. I do this a lot when I'm working out. I listen to wrestling podcasts. I was listening to Jim Cornette Experience the other day working out. And he gave this long breakdown of how bookers would book matches back in the territory era, back when kayfabe was still the prevailing thought process in wrestling. And bad guys had one dressing room, good guys had one dressing room, and you had to be able to communicate how you wanted the show to go without them being able to communicate with each other until they got out to the ring. And what he said was that is the way Dutch Mantel put it. A booker is a football coach, and he calls the plays, and then he tells the players to execute the play. And that's the way things would work. And so I basically transcribed the like 18-minute segment on Cornette's podcast where he talked about how the booker would give the heel the instructions and what instructions he would give for every level of match, from squash match to give the kid, the babyface, a little bit of offense, make it a good match, but beat him. Make it a good match, but win, with chicanery. I'm using the kind terms. Cornette more colorful in that sense, all the way up to a main event style match where the babyface goes over flat in the middle of the ring in front of the world, God in the world. And how in 30 seconds a booker could communicate to the heel how to dictate anything from a 4-minute squash match to a 25-minute main event, and didn't need any more time than that. And then the heel and the babyface in front of a live crowd would be able to flesh that out and make it into something that was something that we loved back in the days. And how different it is today, that matches are often not just the endings are given to the performers, but in a lot of cases every move is mapped out well in advance. Sometimes they're even practiced. The matches can be practiced all the way through. And so how different that is. It may be cleaner and crisper, but it also has less of a athletic feel to it. Because you think about every sports game you watch, they're not clean and crisp. Sometimes the plays are run perfectly, and sometimes because the defense is trying to do things too, no matter what sport it is, things look a little choppy, and the choppy is what makes it interesting, right? So anyway, I try to go through that, and I'll also link to the 18-minute segment. Cornette's podcast breaks his different dissertations on things into digestible bits on YouTube. So I'll link to that as well. In fact, I have the player on the website. So if you want to hear him in his own verbiage, you can read it and then you can hear it. And I think it's just to me, it was very educational. So I thought maybe it would be the same for for the listeners out there, for you guys out there. So AugustaFreePress.com for the latest sports news. If you have any questions for me, concerns, Chris at AugustaFreePress.com.